And now we are ready to start. Welcome to episode 13 of the Joe Dez Hour. I am back with Mr. O'Brien and the winner of the Next Joe Dez contest, Max Certuse, right here. We talked about this on the show for a long time. Finally actually came through. Found the winner. He's been training with me in the booth for a couple months now. Getting better every single day. Max, you like to say hello to the audience?
Yeah, what's going on? I'm excited for the next couple of years, that's for sure.
Yeah, I got a lot of big things coming in the future for Max. This is just the beginning. But Max, first I'd like to start off with, would you like to give the audience a little bit of insight into why you want to be going in the broadcast and communications future?
Yeah, I mean, kind of who I am as a person. I love to entertain. I love making people laugh. I love providing people with some kind of something to do, something to watch, And with broadcasting, it's just it's a really good, accessible, organized form of that entertainment.
Well said, Joe. I think he's going to do all right.
Yeah, exactly. That was perfectly put. I think that this is going to be filling in nicely right here. Shoes are going to be filled perfectly. Not going to be leaving any absence here. So one big thing about, obviously, everything we've done here, I've been doing so many shows with Mr. O'Brien.
We've had a good time.
Yeah, great time, Mr. O'Brien. This has been an amazing year.
Yeah.
But obviously, interaction with the staff at FIAN and, of course, the adults around us. What do you plan to do in the future to continue that and basically build on that?
I mean, there's so much. There's so much I want to do, and I have a lot of time to do it. I hope to, more specific stuff, especially with the athletics at FIAN. I want to do something cool, maybe provide a highlight reel for weekly sports that FIAN puts on. I want people going to the games. I want the FIAN fanatics to get bigger. I want people showing up in the stands. I want a community, basically, a community to build off of.
Yeah, no, that's perfectly put, I feel like. What about you, Mr. O'Brien?
I think he's been studying for this test here, Joe Dez. I agree. I mean, again, kudos to you for building what could be the start of sports media at Bishop FIAN. And I think there's a bright future. I mean, Max coming in sort of new and hitting the ground running here on campus. I mean, you're starting to make friends, or you're continuing to make friends. You are involved yourself in sports. You're involved in class. So I think it's a bright future overall for what this could be. So I'm excited to see it go.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited too. It's going to be pretty big in the future. I'm excited to come back during the summers, basically see how it's evolved, just grown every single time. And then what I wanted to say to you, Max, though, over the last couple months, obviously, we've experimented between passing the mic off between each other for the play-by-play to start first. And then we moved on double broadcast for the first time in FIAN history.
Nice.
Yeah, practice a little bit of color commentary as well as play-by-play. So I wanted to ask you, Max, how has that been for you, and how do you think that practice will help you in the future?
So definitely getting introduced to broadcasting, the side-by-side helped a lot, because when there was a lot of dead time, on the field, that I couldn't think of something to say, it was great to play off of somebody who was experienced like yourself. But, the practicing, we pass off every quarter, every half with just the solo play-by-play. I mean, you remember my first game, I was stuttering a lot. I couldn't really think of a lot of things to say. But I think as I went on, and the more games that I practiced at, the play-by-play got more fluent and more, it was great. It was really easy going.
No, exactly as you said, the more repetitions, more practice you get, the better you're going to be. And that's exactly what's happened so far. Mr. O'Brien, I've got to show you some time. I'm going to include a clip probably about right here showing me and him doing the double broadcast. I've got that saved on the computer.
Jeez, what a pass, number 8. Almost goes in. It seems to the goalie seemed to have saved it with a shot off of his stick.
Yeah, Theo Stamiel doing cleanup duty. Catches the bounce shot after it goes over the goal. Able to recover and go back to his team. Evan Paterza, last goal scorer with it now.
Nice.
But at the beginning, Max was actually pretty good natural. I can't lie. He's kind of downplaying himself right now. There was not that much stuttering. It was mainly just filling the dead time in between plays. Yeah. And Max has improved at that a lot.
And it seems like sometimes you almost let it breathe too, right? It's that's almost an art form itself. I know we were talking before, Max, in terms of some of the Boston media and where you look. Specifically on the radio, they have to fill 3 hours. Right, and some of it you don't have to fill all the time. You let it breathe, you let it ruminate, and then you provide your opinion, stuff like that. So I think that's an art form too. You can certainly learn from Joe too. Is a lot of this is, to your point, what you were saying earlier, is kind of playing off people. I think that's why Joe and I kind of started this, and it's felt like it's been successful, is being able to play off each other and understand what the crowd wants.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a really, really good way to put it. It's that dead time, letting it breathe, but not leaving it to die is a really good skill that I've been practicing. So
what do you think, Joe?
Better.
I'm happy you brought that up, Mr. O'Brien, because obviously being able to play off of you has helped me just grow as a broadcaster exponentially.
Cool.
Yeah, every single time we do this, obviously we had Super Bowl Sunday. We had Mr.
Coach Pinnabell.
Coach Pinnabell with us. Yeah, almost called him Mr. Pinnabell. I was weird for a second. Coach P. Yeah, we had Coach P in, and then
Coach King for
Coach
March
King.
Madness.
Yeah,
we've kind of covered it, huh?
I know we've gone every major sporting event. We even have obviously Jimmy Canale now is going to be covering golf.
Tell us about that a little bit.
Yeah, so Jimmy, he's going to be taking that over. Obviously, we have I think we already finished. I believe it was the Masters, or was
Masters happened.
Masters
I think April.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, usually around Easter.
Coming up, I believe this month there is one more golf tournament. Not exactly sure of the name. I know that there's 3 big ones after the Masters, and he's going to be covering all those.
That's awesome.
Yeah, then hopefully trying to get someone who's going to D1 golf next year in the studio. Going to have Jimmy side by side with me doing a little bit of 2-person hosting on that.
I love that.
Yeah, he's going to be taking your spot, Mr. OB, for that one.
No, that's you and Jimmy can handle it. That's for sure. 2 of the best and the brightest at FIAN. I wonder for Max, what kind of guests maybe do you want to get in future years? If you're picking this up, we're going to have to start to produce this, and like Joe Dez is doing, figure it out. You know, what I love about what Joe has done is every time I pop on and I watch his YouTube channel, it's always an interesting guest around FIAN, right? So what do you think? Like, what's your goals?
So that's a really good question, and it is something that I've been thinking about definitely more often than not, thinking about my future doing this, and like really specific idea. I mean, going right out the bat and interviewing a lot of upperclassmen, maybe a little bit intimidating. I'm going to definitely do it, but I thought it would be cool to kind of get some interviews with some freshmen, people that I know who you see very prominent on FIAN athletics, people who are playing up for sports, people who you can see are really ahead of the game right now, and because it gives me a chance to I'm part of their perspective, really. I can see from the minds of them as a student, but as an athlete, they have a whole new little taste. So I would think it would be great to hear about that.
Nice. And I like the cross promotion too. I think, Joe, that's one thing we talked about is how can we start to get things, not only sports, but other things that are happening around FIAN that maybe we can bring in and talk about a little bit.
No, exactly. There's so many interesting people in different just walks of life. Obviously, Sean Politinsky was one of my first interviews. He's an artist, does digital art all the time. He's done so much. Even the back of the shirt was made.
Show the crowd,
Yeah, even the back of that was made by Sean Politinsky. That's impressive. The fact that high schoolers doing that's insane.
Yeah, I agree.
So my bad, Mr.
I was going to say, have you been friends with him for a while, or
how'd
you guys meet?
Sean was in my sophomore year. He was in my gym class as well, and then he went on a journey himself. He did a really good job. He's been biking. I believe he said he's biking to P-Town and back.
Oh wow!
Like this weekend, which is insane to see.
Yeah,
crazy ride. Yeah, he bikes to and from the Cape often, is what he told me. Blew my mind to find that. I realized right then and there, I need to have this kid in for an interview. He's got some interesting stories, I guarantee.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, then Max, I'm happy that you brought up the fact that you want to interview people in your grade because sometimes, obviously, you can see when someone's going to be something special. Dante Baruski, Case Mankins, if you looked at them in freshman year, you would have told that they were going to be just monsters on the football field by senior year.
Great interview, too. Check it out on his YouTube channel.
Yeah, 100%. Make sure you check out episode 11. That was Dante Baruski and Case Mankins. Great episode.
Good plug.
There. Yeah. And then, but a massive thing, though, for you, Max. I think that you're going to be able to just find a lot of people from a lot of different sections who you can interview. Because obviously so many different people have different interests in your grade. And we don't even just have to keep it at that. You're going to be able to reach out to so many different people, I feel like, actually get connections with them and get them in the studio for interviews. Yeah. I'm going to set you up with some connections before the end of this too, obviously. There's going to be a couple people. Yeah, exactly. So we can get them in. Hopefully, but before the end of the summer, I'm going to have Max co-host one of those with me.
Very cool.
Yeah, give him some training there. It should be pretty good.
Nice.
And then Max, wanted to ask you, you played football this year, obviously. You're continuing to play that. You did track this year.
Yep.
How does that outlook as an athlete really change your perspective in these interviews and actually viewing the athletes that you're talking to?
That's a very good question. My journey with football, it's only starting. I got a long way to go, and I hope to be playing till senior year, and with track too. But when you're looking as a spectator from a sport, it's not too far from being on the team itself. When you and I are up there, we make a lot of comments. We can only imagine putting ourselves in the shoes of those athletes. It really gives you a good feel, and it helps you make unbiased opinions and good judgments and good predictions of what's going to happen on the field.
Now, 100%. Once you get that insight, it really helps just communicate what you want to say and what you're thinking about those athletes. But Mr. O'Brien, I wanted to tell you about this actually.
Yeah.
So the baseball senior night, I was taking my AP statistics exam.
Yeah.
And Max he took it over himself for me. He came through. He was wearing the suit.
Was that the full tux?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the first time
me and
him.
The side.
Yeah, we showed up both in the tuxes, but he was there before me. He actually was able to independently take it on himself, read all the names. He stood in front of the crowd and perfectly did it. wanted to give some kudos there, obviously.
That's good.
Thank you. So, yeah.
But Max, I wanted to ask how that experience was for you. Obviously, there was also lacrosse senior night. It was boys lacrosse. I was in Michigan visiting Michigan State. Max stepped in
Go
again.
Sparties. Go
Yeah,
Sparties.
go Spartans. Yeah. Then Mr. Sullivan taught me the go white, go green chant there. So
Okay,
that
nice.
saved me there. Good.
So you got it. Nice.
Yeah, ended up being pretty good. But Max, I wanted to ask you how it was in those two experiences, having to step out independently and actually control it yourself, handle the crowd, all that.
Well, I gotta say, my mom uses this expression a lot, blessing in disguise. And when you texted me and you were like, "Hey, I'm gonna be late to the senior night," this is for baseball, of course. I was like, he's gonna be late. I mean, there's not much I can do about it. I'm just gonna have to use what I know. And I took some notes, obviously, but I decided use what I know. And I had a lot of parents from the baseball team help me out. Mrs. Cook, I think. Yeah, Mrs. Cook was there, and she helped me out a lot. She set me up with the audio, and then of course Coach Everton. Yeah, Coach Everton. He set me up with a roster, and he said, "Hey, go out there." He was really encouraging, and I went out there, and you just have to do it when the show must go on. It's so I just started reading the names, and it seemed to go well, and something that I've learned doing this a lot is there is still room for error, and there's nothing wrong with that. You just have to keep on going and kind of find a way to move by it,
Yeah, the best thing is when there is an error, it forces you to improvise and just work on your improv skills, and that's one of the most massive things in this entire industry. Like when I did it was a talent show. I was trying to do the Mr. Sensen shout out where I pretended I was singing at first. Music didn't play at all. Had to improvise completely there, and making up all that on the spot. But it was the best practice I've gotten. When you're forced into that, you're forced to fly out of the nest. It's like a bird, obviously. You start flying, you start gliding a little bit, and you start just being able to pick up steam. End up just getting a lot better at your craft.
Yeah.
It's an amazing thing, right? Is kind of you learn as you go and figure it out. I think it's perfectly said, Max, in terms of getting out there and getting going. I think where you can start to improve and grow this sports media franchise here at FIAN is start building the relationships with the athletes too, right? If you can bring those insights from, hey, this guy was struggling a little bit because maybe he was staying up late studying for a math test or something.
Yeah.
So some fun stuff like that, if you can bring from the overall community here. Joe, early on, when you and I started this, I think one of the first episodes, I talked about my experience running sort of a media arm at Union College, and I just wrote for the paper. But I wish we had things like this, podcasts and video and Twitter and all this stuff, because it would have been fun to start to build that community of communication, understanding what are the things that everybody else, because you're doing this for everybody else in the FIAN community, what they want to know about sports that are happening in FIAN and some of the brightest stars or the up-and-coming stars, talking to them and asking questions that the audience will want to know, right?
Yeah, exactly, because a lot of people, obviously have conversations with people.
Yeah.
It's not that often that you're able to get a deep look into their actual lives, find out what their actual ideologies and thinking is. This is a perfect opportunity for that. You can dig deep. People wouldn't have found out what Max wanted to do with broadcasting, why he wanted to do communications.
Absolutely.
Unless he came on here. That's exactly how it works.
Yeah, and you heard I'm teaching a marketing communications class next year.
Oh, yeah?
Is that true?
So yeah, it's going to be brand new. The econ class that you're sitting in today is going to be no longer. That's a one and done. That will be converted and transitioned into marketing and communications.
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. Here's our number one guest right here. So Max, hopefully when you get to the age, you can sign up for that. But that should be fun to build. And it can be a lot of this stuff too, the communication that goes on with different shows here at FIAN.
That's such a good idea, Mr. O'Brien. I've always thought we should have a marketing class because so many people from FIAN are going into that for college. Like, it's a good mix of communications and business.
Yep.
It kind of melts the two together.
Exactly. Yeah, and part of the way I imagine it is because as you've seen my courses over the last couple of years, they are continuing to transition into different angles and add things and take things out, kind of what works and what's sort of big in the news. So part of my business class will now tease out my marketing communications class a little bit. So we'll see how it goes.
Gonna be really nice about that, Mr. O'Brien, is public speaking is used in every aspect of life. Those people who are gonna be joining your marketing class, they're gonna be able to take that into whatever major they do. If they don't even go into business or marketing, they're still going to use it every single day. You need to be comfortable talking in front of a crowd, actually be able to just extrapolate what your thoughts are, tell them exactly what you mean. And that's exactly what they're going to learn in your class. That's great.
And what do you think? So we did a lot of presenting in my class too, right? The econ class. And last year too. Both econ classes you've taken.
Yeah, I had the Dr. Squatch presentation that first
was legendary. That's when I first met you. I think you were sitting in the front row with your mask, and we started to talk about maybe creating this.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
We talked about the sports media
You were
club.
just building your brand, which
Yeah,
was
the
impressive.
First form of the Joe Dez Hour business cards.
Yes.
That's what it was. I think I handed you one right that
I
day.
have one. I think I saw it in my bag the other day. I'll have to take a look.
Nice. Yeah, there's only, I believe, 50 of those original prints that were made. So you got one of the limited edition collectors.
How many
items
did
there.
you make of the new ones? Like, because I've seen them even some of Max's class. You spread that out pretty.
Yeah, so
Pretty
overall,
far.
I think it was 750
Whoa.
cards made, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty insane.
I didn't get one of those.
You don't have one,
I
Max?
think
What?
so.
Oh,
Max,
we'll have to get him one.
Yeah,
huh?
tomorrow's last day of school for me. I'm going to be giving you one, Max.
Yeah,
100%.
that's awesome.
Wow. Did not realize you didn't have one. Wow,
it's
that's
fine.
crazy.
Is there new gear coming or what?
Yeah, so what's next
Oh,
is going to
yeah.
be bathing suits. I found out the place that I make my sweatshirts and my t-shirts at.
Yep.
I can actually bring in a bulk order of bathing suits from wherever I get them online, and they'll
Interesting.
embroider it for like $6 each for me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's not going to be bad at all.
That's
Easily gonna be
amazing.
there. Yeah, it's going to be so
Any
good.
sweatshirts coming back down the aisle here?
Yeah,
or
next
what?
we're gonna be making some sweatshirts 100%, but I think I might hold those off till near the end of summer, so that
Smart.
people when they're going to college will want to actually pick those up.
See, that's the branding right
Yeah,
there.
there's marketing right
Yeah,
there.
marketing
Yeah.
and branding right there.
That-
You're gonna have to come up with your brand too.
Oh yeah,
know?
that's something that I'm
That's in the
looking
works?
forward to. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna be helping them make a page soon. That's gonna
Oh,
be a
good.
big thing that
Yeah.
we're talking about. Then I was trying to come up with a name for it. I was thinking maybe like the Certuse Circuit or something like that. We can come up with something for sure.
We'll have to workshop that a little
yeah.
bit.
Yeah, 100%. We're gonna find something.
What's the plan for the Joe Dez Hour, Joe Dez brand, summer into fall? What do you think?
So summer into fall, we're going to be trying to get as many interviews as we can. I'm going to be trying to reach out to the teams that are actually a lot bigger around here,
Oh, great.
but it's not going to be fully professional leagues. I'm going to try reaching out to like the G League for the NBA, obviously, and then those lower leagues for those, like minor
Amazing.
leagues for baseball.
Yeah.
Try getting one of those guys in. And if we can start getting those in, then we can start just building and building until we end up reaching the pinnacle, which is obviously professional athletes.
Very cool.
Yeah, so that's going to be really good.
Awesome.
Then we're going to be trying to get a Fox 25 internship right now, too.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, it's looking like we have a chance at that. That could be pretty awesome to see.
Very cool.
Yeah, there was I'm not sure I fully brought this up on here. I had a banquet a couple weeks ago. They ended up airing a little bit of it on Fox 25.
What is it?
actually. It was a banquet for
Banquet, okay.
the radio show I do, 40 Sports
Oh,
Talk.
yeah.
We were giving out our girls basketball coach of the year, and then boys basketball coach of the year, then girls and boys basketball players of the year. And then we had 2 lifetime achievement awards. One of them was for Lainey Clement Holbrook.
Okay.
She is the coach with the most girls basketball wins in the entirety of Massachusetts history.
Wow.
And she ended up coaching an All-American team at one point.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty insane to say. A McDonald's All-American. The
Yep.
fact that she met those people. And her, I believe it was her uncle, was the announcer, like the play-by-play announcer for the Boston Bruins. And me and her are really tight, Mr. O'Brien. I
That's
can't lie.
awesome.
We got
It's all
really
about
close to-
relationship, Joe Dez.
Yeah, she's such a nice lady. She during the banquet they ended up playing, I think it was Taylor Swift, and she had some of her players in the crowd,
Yeah.
and she started dancing and she was walking.
Dancing?
She's like in her 60s too, so it was awesome to see. It made me so happy to see.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's very cool to see that stuff. But no, connections, as you mentioned, is a massive part of this. Just every connection that you make is going to be used in the future. You're going to call back to them. Max is going to be helping with that soon. He's already made a lot of connections. Though.
Yeah, that's something that I would like to
Tease
touch
them
on.
out, yeah.
Yeah. So a little shout outs, I guess. I gotta say, going into like high school, definitely as a freshman, it can be intimidating, but I gotta say, I'm so thankful that I was greeted with like nothing but open arms, pretty much going in. Like, I mean, obviously, I have to shout out everybody on the football team in the beginning of the year, everybody I did track with, a lot of the seniors too. I had a bit of an upper hand because my brother is a senior, and he's friends with a lot of people, but they were nothing but nice to me. And then kind of I gotta thank you, Joe Dez, because kind of after my name was kind of put out there that I would be doing this, people started taking note about me. People would, see me in the hallways. People would always be calling me, the next Joe Dez. And
That's quite the badge of honor.
yeah,
huh?
it's some big shoes to fill. But I gotta say, all the connections this year, they've been great. I got to talk to some of the boys' senior baseball players. Matt Linehan, I got to talk to him. He's a great person. When that night that I went out by myself for the senior night, him and Billy Roach, actually, they reassured me that everything was going to be cool. They were talking to me about it. They said I would do great, and I'm so grateful to have people like that who are just so open and so nice to me about that.
That's amazing.
That is one really nice thing about the community now. I feel like before COVID, there was kind of the time where it was obviously like grades were separated, like senior, junior, sophomore, freshman. They didn't really interact too much.
Yeah.
After COVID, I think people started realizing like we're all kind of one and the same. We need
Yeah.
to interact with each other. Now the seniors don't obviously down talk freshmen now. Obviously, Max has been able to get support from Billy Roach
Yeah.
and Matt Linehan, as we mentioned a second ago. Not sure that would have happened a couple of years ago, to be honest.
It's a good point. I mean, you guys, especially you guys, have been through a lot. You know, you're one of your only years. I think your true year was freshman year, full year, and then what'd you get hit with COVID sophomore year in terms of that year? So, and then last year, we know last year with the 2 cohorts and everything was split up, and then this year was a little bit funky. So you guys really haven't had a true year. You guys will have a little bit of a normal year, but then hopefully, get more normalized for the remainder of your years here. So
yeah, Mr. O'Brien, I've never brought this up to you, I'm realizing, but the COVID happening sophomore year might have been a bit of karma from me, honestly. I kept telling everyone, sophomore year is kind of just a bridge year. Like junior year, we get our licenses. Freshman year is when you meet everyone.
Okay, the old sophomore year.
Yeah, and then sophomore year ended up getting canceled, and I was sitting there like, wow, kind of wish I appreciated sophomore year. Maybe it wasn't that bad. Maybe it was a good time.
Yeah.
But I think that Max obviously is going into his sophomore year next year.
Yeah.
What
are the recommendations?
I think 100% appreciate it. That's the big thing. Don't start looking towards when you graduate, when the summer's coming. Just live in the moment. And that's what you've done this year, obviously. You took advantage of every opportunity freshman year. I think you're going to keep doing that.
Yeah, I think I was talking to you about this yesterday. I think when we were leaving the lacrosse games, a lot of people, now that the senior year is coming to an end, some people are, they're getting sad that it's going to be over, but other people are like, oh, I couldn't wait. Already this year, freshman year, so much activity in my life, and like the amount of gratitude and love that I've had for this school, even in the past just couple of months, is like wild. And I'm so fortunate that I have 3 more years to expand on that, and I really can only imagine how sad it's going to be senior year when I do have to leave this all behind, because it's already been only 1 year, and I've already done so much. I've made so many friends, so many nice people I've met. It's great.
Yeah, no, 100%, Max. You took advantage of everything, and I really think you're going to do that the next 3 years, too. Can't imagine that leaving high school is going to be a little bit of a heartbreaker. I had that, too, this year, where a couple of nights where I was thinking, like, wow, everything's moving really fast right now. Getting a little bit scary.
What are the emotions, Joe Dez? Like, I know because I was talking with a few guys out there, and we were talking about it because this spring I graduated 20 years ago from high school. Wow. So yeah, I know puts me old here.
You look good.
Thank you, Max. I appreciate that. Must be this podcast video that just keep me young. But what are some of the emotions there? Because there's going to be some people you never see again. You might not have been so close with them, but you will appreciate them being in your life. What are the emotions right now?
I'm really happy you brought that up, Mr. O'Brien. You made the perfect point of not being close to everyone in the grade, but I will miss them, of course. I've actually started trying to make it a point that this summer I'm going to try interacting and hanging out with those people who I didn't really spend that much time with in high school, because if I never really got to have a real conversation with them, I'm going to think that's a wasted opportunity. Everyone has their own story, and it's interesting to learn about. I want to learn every single one I can before I'm gone.
Yeah, you can learn from everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm learning from you guys.
Yeah, and then we've learned so much from you. Like, it goes both ways. A conversation is the best thing that can happen in the world, realistically, because people take away different things from every single conversation, different lessons, different teachings. And it's just going to keep going like that.
Well, we're really off sports here. This is very philosophical here.
Yeah, it's moved on a little bit. But final episode before graduation's not for a couple of weeks.
So take us through what's going to go on from here on out until graduation.
So right now, of course, we have episode 13 right here. Then we're going to have Joey Brooks in soon. Barrett, who is a sophomore, is almost no doubt going D1.
Okay. From what school, what town?
Not exactly sure the school or town. Know that
local.
He is local. He is actually coming back to I believe that he goes, it's either somewhere in Rhode Island where he goes, and then he comes back up here during the weekends.
Okay.
And but his school, I believe, is focused mostly on athletes and doing stuff like that, which is going to help him. Yeah, so that's going to be cool. Yeah. And then I'm going to have the Norko Twins in soon, who are both going to Bentley for lacrosse.
Yep.
I gave their dad a Joe Dez sweatshirt.
Oh, nice.
That was a funny video.
Yeah, repping the brand.
Yeah, we got on video. He's been so cool.
And they're big scorers, too, from the game, right?
Yeah.
God, yeah.
Yep. This episode's not going to be dropped before this. No, this is perfect, Mr. O'Brien. I can tell you this. I wasn't going to say it at first because I thought this was going to be dropping a day. I'm going to save it a day, so hopefully this happens in the CCL Cup. If Betsy Norko gets 4 goals, she'll have 100 career goals.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I was getting told it by her sister today. She was saying, don't tell anybody. If he gets 4 more goals, you got to freak out and say that's her 100 goal.
Wow, that's amazing.
Ladies and gentlemen at McGrath Stadium, you just witnessed history. That was goal 100 for Betsy Norko.
All right. I've with Joe, I've announced mostly girls lacrosse games, I believe in. I gotta say, once again, shout out to the Norko Twins. They're supernatural when it comes to lacrosse. I'm talking like
very nice.
Yeah, they're insane.
future guests potential? Oh, you said you're gonna get them on.
Yeah,
Very cool.
I might do that interview with Max in real life because
I
Max.
think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I realized I walked down to the field to one of the games. Max was obviously just so excited to meet the Norcos. I'd hype them up to him.
Look at that, local celebrities.
They're living legends, Mr.
Yeah.
O'Brien. They're so cool. But in games, there will be times. I believe the last game, I think it was 6 goals in a row, or 7 goals in a row, were scored by the Norko Twins.
Oh yeah, it was a hat trick by Christie first, and then right after that, following was
Yeah,
a hat trick by Betsy.
Yeah.
That's got to be like a record in the world or something,
Yeah,
right?
they're so
Most goals
good.
by a family in a row or something?
Yeah. The amount.
Yeah. Too bad the Certuses didn't play. Certusei or Certuses?
Certuses.
Certuses?
I
Okay.
think.
We're going to have to
I
check
think.
English
Yeah.
on that one.
We're going
English
to figure that
teachers.
out for sure. Yeah, we're going to double check that. But no. Oh, allergies have been killing us.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
Started laughing a little. Yeah. Max, I felt so bad for because we both get the thing where our eyes will just start drying out.
It's awful.
That's why you wear the shades, right?
That's exactly why. Yeah. Right there, Mr. O'Brien.
Yeah,
Perfect
do I look
placement.
at
Wow.
I'm the next Joe Dez right here.
Yeah. Max, you got some competition.
Yeah.
Mr. O'Brien's coming for this.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, look out.
But no, one of my favorite stories to tell Mr. O'Brien about Mr. Norko is during the soccer season. You obviously remember when I showed up to the College Bowl wearing that tuxedo without telling everyone. So I showed up to one of the girls' soccer games wearing the tuxedo to announce them. I believe it might have been their senior night. When I was walking by Mr. Norko, he's the photographer for the team.
Oh, cool.
He held up his camera and was like, "Hey, Joe Dez, look over here real quick." And I went like this.
You got a photo?
Yeah, he took the picture, but he sent it to the girls' soccer group chat with best picture I've taken all season. he takes thousands of pictures of them every game, and that was his favorite one.
Any publicity's good publicity,
He's
right?
such a good
work.
guy. Yeah, no, almost got brought to tears with that. I can't lie.
Yeah,
He's
that's
such
awesome.
a nice dude. So now, Mr. O'Brien, I obviously soon will be getting a video of you. I have something to surprise you with too. It's gonna be coming in
very
the
nice.
future.
I love it.
You've helped me a lot throughout the last couple of years. It's just been awesome.
We got a montage or something going on here,
Yeah.
a tearjerker.
Yeah, exactly. We'll throw like the animal shelter music behind the montage right here. It's gonna be coming up real quick.
I will get emotional when I watch these on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
No, I know.
I'll drop some comments here and there.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I've been
Mr.
really proud
O'Brien.
of those. Yeah. That's cool. So you have the studio for the rest of the summer?
Yeah, rest of the summer we extended the lease.
Have you seen the studio?
I have. I went there for we did a little demo interview almost in the beginning of the year, and I think that's the first time I formally met Joe. And
Wow.
yeah, really nice office there.
What's funny though, Mr. O'Brien, I'm not sure Max remembers this. I'm hoping he does. I believe you were at homecoming, right, Max?
I was.
You and me took a picture at homecoming, I'm pretty sure. I have to search for it.
You gotta
I
put
believe
that in here
pretty
too?
sure that there's a big crowd around me, and you're one of the people in the crowd. I'm gonna try pulling that
okay.
up. Yeah, pretty sure I got that picture because I
First
remember
meeting.
Yeah, I remember meeting him, and he
First
was.
encounter right there.
Yep.
Yeah, I've been friends with Alex since freshman year,
Yeah.
so I met his brother, and I was like, oh, I love Alex. That's
Yeah.
awesome. And now it's obviously extrapolated to this, which is
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
Shout out
see.
to Alec, too. He's done some good things in business form.
Yeah, he's such a
One of
great
the other
kid.
clubs.
He's definitely.
How long have you known Alec? Your whole life?
Yeah, he's definitely.
Tell us something about Alec, something we don't know, maybe.
So, but Alec. Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Appropriate, of course.
Oh yeah. He. I can't.
We'll give you a minute maybe to think about that one, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, he's a tough guy to
Mostly
nail
mostly
down.
good things about my brother. You know,
Okay.
he's my hero. I love my brother. I think he's definitely one of my best friends. But yeah, he can't cook well. That's one.
Ah, okay. That's not going to help in
He can
Virginia.
crack out toast and cereal. That's pretty much.
He's a big toast guy,
oh, yeah.
huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. How burnt does he usually go?
Like 1 to 10.
Yes, 1 to 10. I like that.
7, I'd say. Maybe 6.5.
I might be okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we can put a piece of burnt toast, a photo in here.
Yeah, we'll try finding
Maybe-
one, Alex. We'll show
A
that.
7.
Yeah, we'll make sure there's no slander. We'll see if it's really a 7.
Isn't
on
that the
scale.
Jim Nance thing? Do you guys see that? You know Jim Nance?
I don't.
I feel like
golf
I do.
golf guy. He
Yeah,
does
yeah.
and he does with Romo. He does the thing, but he rumor is that he carries a photo of like a piece of toast
That's awesome. That's great.
that he brings to like diners and says, make it exactly
Oh
like
wow.
this.
Wow.
That's hilarious.
That's funny.
Hearing different sports figures, what the type of stuff that they do is so funny. It's
crazy.
Yeah,
You need like a burnt toast type thing.
I need to find that.
You need to bring it
100%.
around,
Your
right?
burnt toast.
Yeah. We have to find whatever your
niche
burnt
there.
toast is.
What I was thinking would be funny for a while, I've thought about this for a long time. Obviously, we have Joe Dez brand sweatshirt and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
I need to make Joe Dez brand salt packets, and that's the only salt that I
Interesting.
use. Just be at a restaurant, bust open a Joe
Power
Dez
move.
salt pack. Yeah, exactly. Oh no, I don't actually need any salt. I got my own. And pull it out of my pocket.
branded salt. You got to do pepper too.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do.
You got to keep them both.
Might actually leave the pepper for Max, and I take the salt. So we'll have the
That's
little
right.
combine
I like
there.
that. That's right.
Yeah, it'll be pretty good.
Very interesting.
Yeah. But over the last year, we've had a lot of great moments.
Oh,
Obviously,
yeah.
we talked about the Super Bowl special. We talked about March Madness. There have been countless other ones, too, where it's just you and me going back and forth talking about the last week in the world, basically.
Yeah. We've chatted a bunch about sports at FIAN. I'm still learning myself the landscape and the big players, certainly the coaches and the league. It's all very, very new. So it's been fun, and we've talked a lot of local sports here. There's no shortage. I was talking to Max earlier. There's no shortage of different content you can see out there. So everyone is talking sports in their different ways. We're doing the same thing here on the Joe Dez Hour. So there's a ton to go over, and it's really interesting, right? Because everyone has their own opinions.
No, exactly. There's just so many different sources you can reach into. It's going to be awesome. I think that Max is going to carry this on purpose.
What do you think, Max?
Yeah, to kind of play off what you said there, we were talking earlier about kind of something that I really wanted to do in the next upcoming years is not go away from, but definitely branch out kind of the Joe Dez brand right now. Whatever I end up calling it, I want to branch that out into, not just sports media, kind of understanding more about the everyday life of some of the athletes, some people who aren't athletes. Like, of course, you had Sean Paul on, who was, he wasn't in athletics that I know of. He did art, and it's cool. I want to branch out so you can get like a wider audience in, and then once again, kind of going back to what I said at the beginning, like a bigger community. If made up of a lot of different various things. It's good to have that diversity.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I'm happy you mentioned that, Max, because actually this summer, I meant to bring this up earlier, one of the goals is going to be reaching out for more than just sports. My friend Mason, he's going into college for acting, actually. So I'm going to
Is he doing acting?
Yeah, I got to try getting him in, because I can't lie, Mr. O'Brien. I've seen that kid grow as an actor since freshman year. I watched him in Romeo and Juliet this year. Those lines are almost impossible to nail. He got every single one. I was sitting there with the biggest smile on my face, trying to stop myself from tearing up when I was watching. I can't embarrass my friend up there.
He did great.
Yeah, he was so good.
Every class he's acted like a student in my class.
Yeah. He's done a great job there. Yeah.
Legendary. Yeah, that's good though. That's fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
He'll do amazing.
Yeah, we got some big things coming in the future. And then one thing that's coming right before the end of summer, I'm going to try pushing, is I already have one of these made, and I'm the only sole inheritor of it right now. Is this long Joe Dez Hour poster, basically. Oh, interesting. It's basically a Joe Dez Hour business card, but blown up just 100 times. Wow. So some people have talked to me about having that in their dorm rooms, hanging it up like a flag kind of.
I love it.
A lot of people have Barstool Sports flags. Why can't they have a Joe Dez Hour flag? So
I love it. It's it'll be interesting to see how big the brand gets. Because now all your friends are starting to go around the country. Will they bring the brand and people start asking about it? Get the website up and updated and all that stuff. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I finally got all the interviews updated on the website, actually.
Awesome.
So that is fully done right now. But one good thing is, do you remember the Hawaiian shirts?
Yeah. Legendary.
Yeah, my good friend Cam Bagley, he goes to one of the colleges. I believe it might be Stonehill. I'm not fully sure. It might be Merrimack as well. Not fully sure. But they have like theme parties, obviously. A lot of them are Hawaiian themed. Shows up every time wearing
with the Joe Dez Hour.
Yeah,
very cool.
And people ask me, like, who's Joe Dez? He's like, oh, that's my boy. He's awesome. He was hyping it up to me yesterday.
He's got to send him the YouTube clips, huh?
Yeah, 100%.
That's
we
cool.
Gotta make the supercut or something and include all that. It's gonna be really good.
One thing we talked about too, Max, and I'll get your thoughts on this, is potentially integration with like the Rock Report. So I don't know if you know people there or have an interest in. So now this could be audio visual meets written word. What do you think?
So yeah, the Rock Report is something that I saw coming in freshman year. I think it's a cool idea. Kind of bringing in a kind of like update of a lot of things, and it's almost what I wanted to do. Kind of like we were talking earlier about the idea of like a highlight reel.
Oh, cool.
It would be cool to have like. Kind of like more frequent reports of things that have happened. And I also thought teaming up with them, doing something cool, getting like stuff out there so you can kind of more advertise stuff like this and other things that we're going to be doing for broadcasting at FIAN, as well as kind of partnering up with FIAN Fanatics, because, the biggest thing about sports is they're not enjoyable if there's no people there,
Absolutely.
Maybe if the athletes.
We saw that with COVID, right?
Right.
Crazy.
Yeah, definitely. You want people there, and especially with FIAN Fanatics, one of my first experiences as a freshman was that North versus FIAN football game, and wow, I've never felt like more electricity in like in an area before than the crowd that night, and it actually, you could argue that it played a big part in the game itself. All that energy, it really, really went somewhere, and it was magical. I think that was definitely one of the most fun nights I've had all year as a freshman.
What do you think, Joe?
North versus FIAN was one of the greatest games. That was almost the spark plug that started the whole Joe Dez persona, because I walked into that game, saw the whole crowd freaking out. I was chucking myself off the bars there. I was going through the whole crowd, high-fiving people. I was getting hyped the entire time. And now it's just...
But that was the whiteout, right? All the
exactly,
white?
yeah. All the baby powder flying around there.
God, yeah.
Found out there's talcum in that after, got a little bit terrified for the lungs.
It looked like my nursery there with my two babies at home. So kind of funny how that works, right?
Yeah, what's cool, Mr. O'Brien, is you're going to be able to show your kids all these episodes. When
It's true. That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
Joe Dez.
Oh, no. So when Joe Dez is on Sports Center, I'm going to say, tell my two boys, check that guy out right there. Your dad used to do episodes with him. And then Max is his co-anchor there.
Yeah.
Throwing it to Max on the sideline.
Yeah, we got to somehow find a way within the next 20 years. One of us is a play-by-play, one of us is the color commentary guy made for the Boston Celtics.
How funny would that be? Huh?
That'd be pretty sick. We can connect
See how it
again.
goes.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, so Mr. O'Brien, do you have any final thoughts that you'd like to say before the end of this?
I mean, Joe, I just want to thank you for doing what you do with, everything here in the school. I told you this, I think, in the first episode that one of the reasons that I'm doing this after school and during different times is because I admired so much of your passion with all of this. And, I think it's, especially at a young age, it's very difficult to figure out what you want to do, me as an adult, right? But you know what you want to do. You're going after it. You're doing the right things. You and I have talked a lot about how can you get better at sportscasting and things like this, and I think you've taken that to heart. And now you are starting to push to the next generation here at FIAN, more specifically. So thank you for everything you're doing. And I think it's very impressive, too, how you have built your brand around the school. And there hasn't been anyone else that's done that. So maybe we're sitting next to the person that's going to do it next. So hopefully that's the case.
No, hopefully 100%. Thank you, Mr. O'Brien.
Absolutely.
Because if you didn't actually, you kind of pushed, I can't lie, during the economics class, you pushed me to actually stand up in front of a crowd and public speak.
Yeah.
And that really made me realize how much I enjoyed that. You were a big reason for me actually getting into this type of stuff. So I do appreciate everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I think and you saw it, with all my classes, I think one of the big things that every student here should be speaking in front of people, being confident, being opinionated, and doing things the right way, as we have heard the mantra here. And I've seen you grow even over just 2 years. So good work, bright future. Really excited to see where you end up. And, when you do land that big national show, just give me a segment, like one segment a week. Okay. Let's get that down,
Mr. O'Brien, I will promise now, if I do get the creative control over that, I'm going to give you a segment. I'm
Yes,
going to come
you
back.
will. I know you will.
100%. I will not break that promise. but Mr. O'Brien, it's so easy just to basically tell someone information, but to actually challenge their thinking, make them just view from a different point. That's exactly what you've done with your classes. I do appreciate all of that.
No, thanks, Joe, and that's. I continue to do that, and I've been lucky to have a ton of great students in my classes. So, and it's only getting better. This guy will come up through, I'm sure, at some point. I'll see him, and they continue to come through, and super smart, super focused on their future. You guys are very lucky to be here. Yeah, 100%. What do you think, Max?
Yeah, so I'm, again, when you're in 8th grade, especially in my old school, it was kind of like a standpoint. Everybody, most of my friends from middle school went to FIAN, but I really am happy to be here. I feel like this is the right place for me, and I can only imagine how much better it's going to get.
Yeah, it is really going to keep getting better. I really do appreciate you coming on today, Max. Mr. O'Brien, everything you've done, I'd like to say one final thank you for all that.
You got it.
This has been episode 13 of the Joe Dez Hour. This has been Joe Dez, Mr. O'Brien, and Max Certuse. We'll be back next time.